Steam just rolled out one of its biggest browsing updates in years, from a redesigned store menu to a completely overhauled trailer player, and even some handy new customization tools. But there is also a much quieter change, one that is already removed games from the store and could set a worrying precedent for the future. In this video, we are going to break down all the new features, what they mean for you as a gamer, and then talk about the controversial new policy that has a lot of developers speaking out. Roll the intro.
So here's what's new with the Steam store layout in the beta update and why it actually matters. Remember that clunky split between the left side links and the blue navigation bar up top? Well, it's gone. Steam's now merged both into one clear, more unified menu. It's slicker, more compact, and the real benefit, you're not second guessing where to go anymore. It brings together all the essentials like your wish list, discovery queues, and categories in one place. Search isn't just type and pray anymore. Now you've got popular searches so you can see what's trending in real time, recently viewed, perfect for when you forget what game looked cool 5 minutes ago, and search beyond games. Now you can find tags, publishers, and even genres with more precision. And a direct advanced search link right in the panel. Super handy for backlog organizers like me who are filtering by length and genre constantly. The browser tab is actually useful now. This is for those I don't know what I'm in the mood for mood. It narrows down games by popularity, release date, price drops, and trending tags. Basically, it's a faster way to catch what the community is buzzing about. Steam has grouped every time of recommendation based on your playtime, library, friends, reviews into a single hub. No more scattered algorithm. Now it's clearer why it thinks you'd love games, or why you keep getting recommended crab champions for the 9th time. Personalized categories and tags. Well, this might be the most underrated part. Steam now shows genres and tag hubs based on what you actually play. So if you're knee-deep into your strategy or roguelikes, your menu reflects it. It's like a subtle mirror of your taste, maybe even revealing trends you didn't realize about your gaming habits.
And just when we thought the Steam July updates were over, Valve dropped another surprise. Valve just announced a big upgrade to the Steam trailer player. Yep, the part of the store that plays all those slick games trailer. It's gotten a full facelift, and honestly, it was overdue. The trailer player now has a cleaner, more responsive design. It just feels smoother and is way easier to control, no matter what device you're using. Either PC, Steam Deck, mobile, even iPhones. Yes, iPhones too. You can now preview frames as you hover over the timeline. Super handy if you are trying to find a specific part of a trailer or just want to skim the vibe quickly. They've changed the back-end video tech, so skipping around trailers is buttery smooth, and full screen mode, instant, no stutters. The player now adjusts the video quality dynamically based on your connection, with up to 4 resolution, 360p up to 1080p. So whether you are on blazing fiber or stuck on hotel Wi-Fi, it should work cleanly. Finally, it handles odd aspect ratios gracefully, no more squished or awkwardly cropped trailers. To make this happen, Valve literally reprocessed over 400,000 trailers in the store. For me, that's wild, though fair warning, some older trailers still look grainy because the original uploads are just ancient and lost to time, like the Portal. So please, Valve, find that backup tape. It is a small thing, but it makes a big difference when you are browsing the store. You'll get a better sense of the games faster, and it makes exploring feel snappier overall, which, paired with the new menu design we talked about earlier, shows Valve's putting effort into streamlining the browsing experience.
And Valve wasn't done yet. Just days after the store redesign and trailer player overhaul, we got another Steam client beta update on July 31st with even more quality of life changes. You can now open a customization tab in a game's property menu. This lets you set custom artwork for your games and even assign a custom sort title so it appears how you want it in your library. Perfect for organizing big collections or cleaning up odd naming formats. There has been other store menu improvements, such as fixed a blur issue with users with GPU acceleration turned off. Top genres list is now more relevant and dynamic, and they added a direct store home link for easier navigation. Some UI fixes have also taken place, such as fixes for the chat tab, sometimes missing the name and the avatar of the person you're talking to. They also fixed an empty space showing up in context menu at a certain UI scale. Big Picture also got an update. They fixed the UI scale adjustments from resetting back to auto, and they also fixed the window resizing unexpectedly when scaling was changed. Game recording improvements also happened, so you have fixed keyboard shortcuts not working in recordings and screenshots dialogue. Also, they fixed export errors when working with lower resolution recordings. Linux also got a little bit of fix, and that is Steam UI scale now updates correctly with Steam DPI changes in XY land. They also fixed a case where Steam could freeze and fail to recover after a process crash. It's not a flashy update, but it's one of those small but meaningful patches that makes the overall Steam experience smoother. The Customize tab is essentially nice for people who love personalizing their library, and finally, they can tweak it and adjust it the way they like it. There were a lot of discussions back in the days where simply games like, let's say, Final Fantasy X would be all the way to the bottom instead of actually being between 9 and 11. Now, that shouldn't be a problem anymore. And combined with the store menu changes, Valve's clearly in a polish everything phase this summer. Now, shifting gears a bit, I want to talk about something that's been quietly unfolding behind the scenes. Something that could have serious implications for indie developers and creative freedom on Steam and other platforms. In July 2025, Valve introduced a new policy that has gone largely unnoticed by the general gaming public until, well, pretty much everybody started sharing all over the place. But it hasn't gone unnoticed by the developers it affected. The rule stated that any content violating the standards of Steam's payment process like Visa, Mastercard, or PayPal may be banned, and they have. On the surface, this might not sound like a huge deal, but dig a little deeper and what you'll find is financial corporations, not game publisher, nor even governments, now dictating what content is allowed on one of the biggest gaming platforms in the world. And that should concern everyone, no matter your personal stances on this type of games being targeted. As a Christian, I want to be clear, I don't support or promote these types of content that go against my beliefs or biblical values. Many of the games affected in this rule include themes and content I would personally never play or condone. I also believe we don't need more hypersexualization or morally questionable content in gaming. But here's the problem. This isn't just about whether or not I agree with the content. It's about control. It's about censorship that isn't coming from the public or from people voting on politics, but from massive financial institutions operating in the background without accountability. Companies like Mastercard and Visa are effectively acting as moral gatekeepers, quietly pulling strings to influence what games get made, what games get published, and what voices get silenced. And that includes small indie studios who aren't making shock content for the shock's sake, but who are simply caught in the crossfire of vague rules and moral panic. What makes this worse is Valve's silence. They quietly updated their Steam onboard rules, no public statement, no blog post, no explanation, just a change. After a few days of silence, Valve has now responded to the controversy around the removal of certain adult games from Steam. I want to make a quick correction here. At the time of the recording, the earlier position of this video, no public statement has been made by Valve. However, there have been since issues and a response to gaming on Linux. And they stated the following: "We were recently notified that certain games on Steam may violate the rules and standards set forth by our payment processors and their related card networks and banks. As a result, we are retiring those games from being sold on Steam Store because loss of payment methods would prevent customers from being able to purchase other titles and games content on Steam. Valve also said they are directly notifying developers and offering app credits if they want to publish other titles in the future. They've quietly added a new line to the Steamworks onboarding guide under what you shouldn't publish on Steam, and that goes as follows. The new line simply reads, content that may violate the rules and standards set forth by Steam payment process and related card networks and banks could be affected. So there's a may over there. So it doesn't matter what kind of games you're gonna make, there's a big question if your game is gonna still be standing in the next couple of months. That's it. No clarity, no list of affect topics, and no real guidelines for the developers. What's acceptable now depends on the ever-shifting definition of external payment processors. And Valve, instead of defending the creative space it built, it chooses to step aside and let them dictate the rules. Now, I do understand why. Let's be honest, if Mastercard and Visa would pull off of Valve and Steam as we know it would not exist. This isn't hurting developers making extreme and controversial content. It's affecting all indie devs, especially the small ones who can't afford to guess whether their game's idea might one day be blacklisted because a faceless bank decided it's too risky. All this creates fear, it creates instability, it pushes creative boundaries into a corner, and people who might be making thoughtful, niche or artistic games are left wondering, is it even worth risking to publish on Steam anymore? Even if you're someone who has no interest in this kind of content being removed, and we include ourselves here, that doesn't mean we shouldn't be concerned, because when censorship becomes vague and hidden, it may never stay small. It grows and it always starts with something unpopular.
To wrap up this Steam update, both the redesigned store menu and the new content policy tied to payment processors is shaking things up for players and developers alike. While improved navigation is a welcome change, the shadow of censorship looms large, especially for indie creators and communities that value creative freedom. Valve's silence on detailed guidelines leaves too much uncertainty, and the power of Visa and Mastercard to influence content decisions raises important questions about who really controls what we can see and play. Whether or not you personally engage with mature or taboo content, it is vital for all of us to stand against censorship that risks spreading beyond just a few genres. Protecting diversity in games ensures the industry remains vibrant, inclusive, and creatively bold. As a Switch player, I see NSFW games on a console that was originally designed for children in mind. While I do agree that in some cases these games shouldn't be promoted, I don't want to see other types of games end up censored just because they contain elements that certain activist groups like Collective Shout or others find objectionable. Take Red Dead Redemption for example. It is a game where you can choose to help people or harm them, reflecting the freedom of choice in its open world design, but someone who has never played it and doesn't understand how it works might judge it solely for depicting violence and call for it to be censored without fully understanding its context or purpose. If you care about this, here is what you can do. Stay informed and share updates with your communities. Support indie developers who face these challenges firsthand. Reach out to Valve and express the importance of transparency and fair policies. Sign and promote petitions against undue censorship on digital platforms. Advocate for policies that balance payment compliance with creative freedom. Thanks for watching and engaging with this important topic. Drop your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Let us keep this conversation going. And if you found this video useful, hit like, subscribe, and ring the bell for more updates on gaming news and industry discussions. Until next time, my name is Armea, and together with Vashural, this has been a Telplay Steam news video. As always, stay safe, have fun, and happy gaming.
Stay safe, have fun, and happy gaming. Stay safe, have fun, and happy gaming.